Good evening, everyone. The board is back into open session, and the first order of business tonight is the public hearing on the 2025-2026 budget. The tentative budget was presented at the August meeting and has been posted on our website. So now I just need to ask, are there any members of the public here to speak as a part of this public hearing on the budget? Okay, thank you, everyone. We need to check, and so since we have no comments, I close the public hearing at this time. And now we're moving on to our regular agenda for the September 30th, 2025 meeting of the Board of Education for Arlington Heights School District 25. Thank you for everyone that's here tonight. We have a full crowd. And so before we begin, as I usually do, I share that our meetings are when the school board conducts its business and are open to the public. Because we're an elected governmental body, we can only take action by a majority vote in a public meeting like this one. We welcome the public to listen and observe, and we have community input sections on the agenda if you have questions or comments on the business of the board. And as I said earlier, the meeting is now called to order, so Dr. Kay, if you could please call the roll.
Member Neerman.
Here.
Member Tranter.
Here.
Member Jogi.
Here.
Member Scapalato.
Here.
Member Michael.
Here.
Member Buchberger.
Here.
Member Cerniglia.
Tardy but here.
Present.
Thank you, Dr. Kay. Please stand if you're able for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As we traditionally do, we begin with our recognitions and presentations, and tonight is no exception. We have a special evening where we're going to recognize our newly tenured teachers, so welcome to those that were able to join us tonight. And now I'm going to ask Ms. Kendra Perry if you want to come forward, and Dr. Kay and I will join you.
The mic is live and waiting for you.
Do you want to say anything first?
I do. All right, so I'm going to do a little process here first. So what we want to do is be able to recognize everybody from each school. We'll have the principal come up, and then we will invite the person being recognized for achieving tenure, which we are extremely thrilled about. So we'll do each school, and then we'll do photos with the blue background so we can throw it all over social media and remind you that you are here for good now. So I also want to invite the board members who are here. You guys can wait for each group. We'd like all of you to be present in the photos. Adam is ready to take the photos. So principals, when we announce your school, come on up here. And then as we invite each honoree and guest, you will come up as Kendra reads your name. And I'm so glad she's reading names tonight. I cannot wait. So thank you all for being here. Achieving tenure is a huge milestone, and we are thrilled you chose District 25. I can't wait to recognize you tonight. Thank you.
All right, welcome everyone. Welcome tenured teachers. We're going to start the night off with Dryden Elementary School. Do we have an administrator from Dryden? All right, and Jordan Jackson would be acknowledged, but I believe they are not here tonight. Next, we have Greenbrier. Come on up, Greenbrier admin. I'm going to read all the attendees, if you can hold your applause until all of Greenbrier gets up here. First, we have Amy Braun, Matthew Evans, Megan Gamber, Jennifer Keem, Nicole Panarisi, and Sarah Solak. All right, let's give a round of applause for Greenbrier. Next, I'd like to welcome administrators from Ivy Hill. We have 2 tenured staff tonight, Rebecca Nordquist, who is not able to attend, and Parisi Peary. Parisa Peary. I read it. Rebecca Nordquist. All right, congratulations, Ivy. Next, I'd like to welcome the administrators from Olive Mary Stitt. We have 4 tenured staff from Olive this year: Krista Grabsky, Lindsay Frazier, Gianna Rupert, and Molly Russell. Hoot, hoot, hooray, Olive Owls. You guys are getting your steps in tonight. Next, I would like to invite the administrators from Patton. We have 2 tenured staff tonight from Patton, Stacy Hemmer and Stacy Pacini. Congratulations, Patton. Next up, I would like to invite the administrators from South Middle School. We have 5 tenured staff from South this year: Rebecca Bora, Elizabeth Miller, Caitlin Ornduff, Tracy Recklaus, and Wesley Skim. Congratulations, South. Next, I would like to invite the administrators from Thomas Middle School. We have 2 tenured staff this year from Thomas, Bradford Keeler and Teresa Perkins. Congratulations, Thomas. Next, I would like to invite up the administrators from Westgate. Go Cubs. we We have 2 teachers receiving tenure this year at Westgate, Abigail Anderson and Adam Mead. Congratulations, Westgate. And lastly, I would like to invite up the administrators from Windsor. We have 3 teachers receiving tenure this year from Windsor: Alyssa Floro, Megan McLaughlin, and Abby Wendell.
As much as I would love for all of you to stay for the rest of the evening, this was a highlight, and I think the reason you all came. So at this point, I'm going to give you an opportunity to exit stage right. Thank you all for coming. Congratulations to all of our newly tenured teachers. You mean the world to us. Thank you.
Well, it is hard to top that one, but we are going to forge ahead. So we move now to our board communications. To begin, I'll look around to my colleagues. Anyone have any updates you'd like to share from the last month since we saw each other? 6 weeks, maybe.
Mr. President?
Yes, Kevin.
This is kind of an update that I'm sharing from the perspective of a district parent, but it relates to the board and the district in general, I believe. So I had the pleasure very recently of attending the Thomas Middle School Curriculum Night to meet with all of my 7th grade daughter's teachers. And not only was that experience very enlightening and welcoming to parents of the district to learn about what classes their children are going to be in and what teachers they'll be working with throughout the course of the year, but it just reminded me the amount of extra time and effort and hard work that all of the staff of D25 put into these events. And so as a parent and as a board member, I just want to extend my appreciation to the staff for those extra hours they put in so early in the school year when they're probably very exhausted and very overwhelmed with all of the new school year business that they're attending to. So I just wanted to express my gratitude to all of our staff for that extra commitment to the parents and students.
Thank you, Kevin. Any other updates?
Mr. President,
Yes, Deb.
I wanted to share just a couple things, and the first one being just a statement of gratitude. The first full month back to school is one of the most important months to our students. It's when they learn that they're trusted and respected and joyful in the classroom, and I just wanted to say hats off to our teachers, hats off. I've had the joy and the privilege of visiting 2 of the 9 schools so far this year, and the children really do appear to be joyful and engaged and feel respected, and hats off to our teachers. So thank you to them. I'm looking forward to visiting the balance of the schools the next couple of weeks. I'd also like to share with the community that as a first-year board member, Dr. K, Melissa, and I had this lovely opportunity to do a Super Saturday at IASB along with a couple hundred other districts from our state, and met so many individuals from so many districts, and really learned how grateful we are for our party of 8 and the respect and the communication that we have with one another, because it isn't the case with all. So just gratitude and appreciation there, and a start to our learning year that Melissa and I have had. So it was really something helping us to know school governance and attending legal roundtables and diving into open meeting acts and things like that. And lastly, just wanted to say thank you to our own board member, Anisha, who took the time from her family, from her professional life, to go to Washington, D.C. and advocate for our students. I am so impressed with you as a role model and a mentor. You're leading our board and showing us what it really means to be truly dedicated to the students and advocating for their future. So thank you.
Thank you, Deb. Very much appreciated. Any other updates from our colleagues?
No, I'm a ditto to everything everybody said. You know, South had a curriculum night as well, so, and this time I was out of town, but my husband told me really good things about it as we tag teamed, and appreciation to our South team as well for curriculum night, and all, you know, even kind of taking into account the parents who couldn't be there for whatever reason, and having that communication and the PowerPoints come home, and so we could all not only get information from our husbands, but via email as well, so that was good. On a different, so many things happening now. I feel like fall is kind of in the air, but it's 80 degrees outside, so we don't know, right? But Ivy Hill had their Fall Fest, and I had the opportunity to go, and I'm sure other board members were there too. We love to be invited as a board to go attend these different events. And Ivy Hill Fall Fest was jamming. There was a DJ there. There was lots of activity. I got the opportunity to speak to 2 PTA leaders who told me, you know, just listening to them, the amount of work they put into this event and the thought they put into PTA. And, you know, they were telling me about, you know, Ivy Hill is an interesting, you know, all our schools are so fabulous and they're different in their own ways, right? And Ivy Hill PTA members are so cognizant of making sure that all events are equitable and that everybody can attend. There's a socioeconomic dynamic in all our schools, and Ivy Hill has a strong population that's majority minority as well, you know, and having that lens of making sure that everybody has a sense of belonging at Ivy Hill that came through very much so when I was talking to the PTA members amidst all the loud music and the smell of really good popcorn. So it was a fun event to be at. A second thing, you know, as a board, we try really hard, and we've always, you know, for many years now, feel very strongly about engaging with the community and having, you know, these community kind of outreach events and being out there as a board with the community. And we're always so grateful because we always tag our superintendent along with us. So Dr. K and I and Greg, we were at the Arlington Heights Farmers Market. That was our first debut, and I think we're going to go all the time. They might have a hard time keeping us away from the farmers market because it truly, in my 9 years nearly 9 years of being a board member, I want to say that was the most engaging event or community engagement event, or the coffees that we have. Students came, they were coloring. I love the book. We had bookmarks to color. If you want any, I think Dr. K has extras. I took some for my nephews. But kids were coming, and while the kids were coloring, we got to talk to the parents. Lots of teachers. You know, we learn all the time that there's so many teachers who live in Arlington Heights, right? So they're at the farmers market. So I just love this new idea of being where the community is at. It was just a fabulous event. And then we got to, you know, buy pretty flowers for our table from the local people. We got to have the coffee and local delicacies that they had at the farmers market. So really an amazing event. Dr. K gave up 4 hours of his Saturday to come from his hometown to be here with us in Arlington Heights. So we so appreciate you taking that extra time to be with us to kind of share the message. Oh, and I have to share this, right? Dr. K and Greg knows what I'm going to share now. So you guys, while I was at this event, the diversity and the global spread that Arlington Heights has is incredible. Because Greg was talking to a couple with their children, and it came out, you know, because I grew up in Malawi, Southeast Africa, and I never think there's anybody who knows where Malawi is in Arlington Heights. But there was a young dad who actually lived in Malawi for a little bit and knew all about the language and everything about Malawi. So I am going to go to the farmers market all the time. So no, it was really, really amazing to be there. So that's that. On a different front, I also want to say we're so lucky that we live in kind of these northwest suburbs. You know, I have board friends, and we all do. We have a really strong collaboration, not just between us, but between different boards. And I was invited to go to my board friends in District 57 and District 26 who had ribbon cuttings for their own schools. And just really huge congratulations to our area schools. I was telling Ryan, we're all done with our ribbon cuttings for now. So it's fun and exciting to celebrate the expansion of schools around our area. So really cool to participate in those events too. So thank you, Dr. And Mr. President and Dr. K.
Thank you, Anisha. And just to round out the board member updates, I just wanted to share a quick one, really adding on to Kevin. Anisha, you talked about curriculum night. I wanted to share one thing I observed as we were at Thomas, but I know this is happening at both our middle schools, is the incredible work behind the scenes that the staff is doing to align their grading practices in their departments. And that sounds like standard teacher work, right? But I think the notable part is that these practices are really supportive rather than punitive, really focused on moving kids toward that goal of acquisition of a skill or knowledge or something they need to, you know, whatever they're learning in that class. And it was really a persistent thing throughout as I moved from class to class. The grading practices might vary a little bit, but how they talked about late work, retakes, And all these things were so student-centered, and I know that takes tremendous work. So congratulations and thank you to all the staff for engaging and then putting those into practice. So if it's all right, we'll continue on. And so Kevin and Stacy, the legislative report, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. The new year of EdRed monthly meetings has not begun officially. So there hasn't been a meeting since I shared at the last board meeting. However, I'm going to share an update based largely on the very high number of bills that were recently signed by the governor into law. Of the hundreds of bills that were recently signed into law around the state, somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 of them related to education in some way or another. I'm not going to read them all, but I chose a few highlights that I think either because they will in some way directly impact teaching and learning in Arlington Heights or just something that we want to keep on our radar. Many of these will probably sound like repetition from hot bills that EdRed did track in the past that I've reported on in the past, but just as an update that these are now signed into law, and either they are already immediately in effect as of the signing, so they're in effect now, or many of them will go into effect on January 1st of 2026. So the first one I wanted to highlight is House Bill 1368, which requires any professional development program that teachers who provide literacy instruction go through to be aligned with comprehensive literacy plans. So I'm fairly certain that our practices and our current literacy program follow those guidelines, but I just wanted to share that update. House Bill number 2462, also known as Dillon's Law, will allow any individual who undergoes required training to carry and administer epinephrine to individuals experiencing anaphylaxis. The next one that I had highlighted is House Bill 3039, which expands options for students in grade 7 or 8 to take high school level courses at their current schools. That goes into effect on January. Thank you. Dr. K, appreciate it. House Bill 3377 requires school districts to report to State Board of Education on funding for homeless students annually, and that will be published on the State Board's website. That goes into effect on January 1st. House Bill 3528 amends the school code to allow students to be paid while completing student teaching requirement of professional educator licensure. That has already gone into effect. Senate Bill 1231 extends the timeline for school districts to address any requests from parents or guardians for an independent educational evaluation. That goes into effect on January. Oh, two? Oh, there we go. Is it me? It might be me. The one. Senate Bill 329 empowers state superintendent of education to inform an educator's current or most recent employer if the educator is under investigation for misconduct that could threaten student safety. Should I try this again? That one goes into effect on January 1st. House Bill 2994 allows parents or guardians of a child involved in special ed services, regardless of their age, to inspect and copy their child's record. That goes into effect January 1st. House Bill 3247 prohibits a child from being denied a free public education through secondary school while in the state based on the child's or associated person's perceived or actual citizenship or immigration status. House Bill 3851 expands the definition of bullying to include posting or distributing sexually explicit images. This expands the definition of cyberbullying to include posting or distributing unauthorized digital replicas electronically. So those are what are commonly referred to as deep fakes. That one has come up a lot in our policy committee meetings of late, so I thought that was an important one to mention. Senate Bill 0405 requires school counseling services under school code be provided to students regardless of their citizenship status. That goes into effect immediately. Almost done. Senate Bill 1672 requires school districts to report early literacy screening info to the State Board of Ed in the 26-27 school year. So that will go into effect January 1st as well. Senate Bill 1920 requires the State Board of Ed to develop guidance on the use of artificial intelligence in elementary and secondary education and publish data on content area knowledge tests on its website. That goes into effect January 1st. And then there are numerous changes to how the state reviews and evaluates assessment data. So for example, IAR testing. I do have a link with very specific details. I'm not going to go into detail. I think some of you may have already gotten emails about that as well, but that's something to keep on the lookout for. And then EdRed has requested that board members, administrators, community members reach out to their representatives in the state legislation about Senate Bill 243, a proposed bill that would require that FOIA requests be conducted by actual humans and not artificial intelligence. So they are asking people to reach out to the to their state senators to ask them to co-sponsor Senate Bill 243 to show their support, and to urge Senate President Don Harmon to call the bill for a vote during the veto session. And then last but not least, I will be attending the annual EdRed Kickoff Luncheon on Monday, October 20th. So I'm looking forward to that and reporting back on what we discuss at that event next time. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay. All right, thank you, Kevin. And so we'll go on to the IASB and COSBA report. Dr. Jolie.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. You know, lots going on with both IASB and COSBA, so bear with me. I'll first start with IASB. You know, IASB has, I'm very grateful to IASB because they did so much legwork and helped us prepare because, as you know, Illinois Association School Board is a founding member of COSBA, which is this national organization. And truly, the delegation from Illinois that went for the federal advocacy was well prepared to go. We had so many sessions before we left to prepare for our time with our federal leaders, and so lots of legwork that went in there, and a lot of workshops. IASB Federal Priorities Seminar was one of them, and then in addition to that, they had a kind of a communications expert work with us to prepare us to tell our district stories when we went to DC, so lots of work went through. So a huge thanks to IASB for the level of organization and the amount of resources they put into all of us as we left, as we left for DC to talk and share our stories with our federal leaders. So that's one thing. And the IASB local level, I am going to talk about COSBA and the conference in a second, but I do want to kind of just make sure my colleagues know, when we go to III, the delegate assembly is part of that process, and as your delegate, there's a couple of things that we'll do at the next board meeting, but at your tables right now, you have the 2025 Resolutions Committee report, so you have some bedside reading. So have a look at these resolutions. We'll talk more about it at our next board meeting. And on October 9th, IASB also has a workshop, if you want kind of more prep, called Resolutions, Constitutional Changes, and for the Delegate Assembly. I'll be there. It's a webinar, so if you're interested, join me. It's usually I believe it's at lunchtime. So that's an opportunity that IASB gives us to kind of learn about everything that's going on. And that's at that IASB level. Now, along with the state portion, we in Arlington Heights are members of the North Cook region of IASB. So IASB is broken up into different regions. So when Melissa and Deb spent a whole day with all the board members, they all come from different parts of IASB. There's a DuPage, there's a West region, and so forth. So, and we're proud members of the North Cook. Now, North Cook has these dinners, which we will be going to. We're all welcome to go to this meeting on October 22nd. And you should have all received an email that at that meeting, there's going to be a vote that happens on behalf of our district. So as your governing board representative, will vote on I'll vote on behalf of our district, as each district has one vote. And so they've put a nomination, so they've put a slate together of different members for director, chair, vice chair. So have a look at that email. I'll forward it on so it's on top of your inbox again. And in addition to that, I want you all to know that, nominations are accepted from the floor. So if any of you would like to, take on this leadership role, let Greg know, let myself know. We're happy to nominate you if you want to further your leadership or, volunteer at this North Cook level. So nominations can go from the floor with the approval of the candidate. And so that voting will happen on the 22nd. So have a look at that list of different people across the North Cook who who ISB has put in front of us. So that's that. So look out for that email. If you don't have it, I can forward it back out to you.
Anisha, can I,
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I
No,
have a
go
question
for it.
related to that specifically.
Yes.
Can you remind us, if you know, how, is it every year we would do this kind of voting at North Cook, or is it every other year?
Yeah,
Do you recall?
that's a good question. So it happens when there's a vacancy. In my experience, it's
Okay.
happened when there's a vacancy. I don't believe those positions have a term.
Okay.
I have to double check.
Okay.
There is some interesting conversations with, board members across North Cook who'd like to really see new leadership come up. And so it's always a good opportunity. So I want to encourage my board members who are here. You're all very strong leaders and very committed leaders. So put your hat in the ring for something like that. And so also not to know that you don't have to be tapped on the shoulder, that you can fill out application forms and do this, jump in the ring as well. So yeah, I think
Okay.
it's when it opens up. I don't believe there's terms on
Okay,
that.
thank you.
Yeah. Good question, Greg. I'm going to move forward, unless there's any other questions about things that I've shared so far. So as far as COSBA and the federal advocacy, again, I'm going to be, as a FYI to you all, I took a lot of notes over the 2 days. When I left here on a Sunday, I came back on a Tuesday. So lots of things happened, and I took robust notes for all of you. So I will be sharing that as an FYI, so you can just kind of see the process. So a lot of boards across Illinois had many members who go. For our board, it was the first time that we were there. And it was really important work, and it really showed to me the importance of that local advocacy along with the state advocacy that Kevin was talking about. That all adds up with that national piece. So we have to all work together as leaders to make sure it takes a village, it takes a state, it takes a country to make sure that all the kids in our country are taken care of. So this piece is really important. So I want to thank you for the opportunity to share a quick update from my recent federal advocacy work. While I was in DC, I met with members of Congress and senators, along with the Illinois Association of School Boards, who I told you prepared us really well, on behalf of the nearly 2 million public school students in the state of Illinois. And our message was simple but urgent, and we practiced it. They give you a lot of practice time, so Deb, it all looks great at the end, but a lot of work went into that. So you go there day one, and they prep you of what to share. And while we were there, day one had incredible speakers. So we had a session on AI, so look out for my notes for that, and I'll be sharing them with Chris Fano too. A lot of great work with AI and the legislation and the concerns about AI and the pros and cons. So look out for that in your FYI inboxes. There was a session with the Congressional Staff Panel with Staff House and Education Workforce Committee folks and different professional staff members who are in Congress. And I'm proud to say my daughter also works at Capitol Hill now, so I'm getting insider perspective of what happens out there. So it's good to hear from these young budding leaders of what happens at the Capitol building. The keynote speaker for that conference on day one was none other than Bob Woodward, who, as you know, was the journalist who uncovered the Watergate scandal. So he's spoken to 10 presidents and leaders across, and so lots of great advice from Bob Woodward. there, and there was other panels with just different kind of political consultants and leaders and the staffers talking about what happens at the Capitol building. So it was just very eye-opening for all of us. I personally met with Congressman Raja Krishnamurthy, Congressman Quigley, and Brett Schneider, and I also met with Senator Dick Durbin, and so we broke up into kind of teams. While I met with Dick Durbin with a group of maybe 6 other board members, another team went out to meet with Senator Tammy Duckworth. So over that day, we were just going meeting after meeting after meeting with different congressmen and senators. So, and they were very small, intimate settings, right? So when I met with Raja Krishnamurthy, it was just me. So I had to be on my game as far as what we'll be sharing and what we'll be advocating for. So ultimately, we raised 3 main areas of concern, right? First, we expressed our deep concern with the funding levels, and we were so glad that they were in agreement with us about the importance of education funding and the House appropriation legislation. And the bill currently maintains significant cuts to programs like Title I, Title II, English language acquisition, assessment grants, and community schools. Now we know right here in Arlington Heights, we have over 65 different languages spoken. So when we have funding cuts like that, it impacts us as well. And in the notes that I share with you, not only will you see what ISB prepped us with, but I had a lot of prep and work with our own administrators here in District 25. So Dr. K and all the administrators, we sat down and really looked at what is the story we want to tell from District 25 and what are our needs. So you'll see that in the notes that I share as well. So we emphasized how damaging these cuts would be and voiced our support for the higher funding levels included in the Senate bill. The second thing we talked about is we strongly urge Congress to finally fulfill its 40% funding promise for the Individual with Disabilities Education Act, so IDEA. We asked for support on HR 2598, the IDEA Full Funding Act, because other districts continue to absorb unfunded costs that rightfully should be a federal responsibility. And then third, we advocated for additional funding to address student mental health. That came up a lot for the ISB, the Illinois delegates, as far as this being a real need that we want our federal leaders to be aware of. What are we seeing right here in the neck of our neck of woods? One thing, so with another thing, not only was I looking at District 25, since I was the only one who went from this area, another thing that I wanted to make our federal leaders aware of is, for instance, with District 214, 1 in 4 of our students identify as newcomers, and many more face complex challenges, federal support. So this federal support for mental health resources is essential in every way, including building a sense of belonging for all our students. So throughout these conversations, we made clear that these funds are not abstract, they're critical to the daily work of serving our students and supporting our teachers, and making sure that we have high quality teachers who are well supported with the funding that we all need. So we of course thank them for listening. It was really engaging speaking to these folks. I mean, people like Senator Dick Durbin have been in office for decades and have really interesting kind of tidbits to share. So when we asked him, I closed with Senator Dick Durbin when I went there and was like, well, what advice do you have for us, as school board members? And he said, well, if you guys want to make a change, you have to, he said, always start by, let me start by telling you a story. Apparently that adds up to 6 words, right? Let me tell you. So he said it's really important to collect these stories when we're doing advocacy work on behalf of our students and communities. So in short, we looked at protecting essential federal program funds, fulfilling IDEA, and strengthening mental health support. And so I thank the district for entrusting me to carry our voice to DC and to our federal leaders, and for us to always, it also made me realize, I think some of our board members are very good at keeping in contact with our state representative and our federal leaders. I think we have great role models. Greg, I know, does a great job with that as well. So I want to encourage us all to really, when there is a concern or when we hear a story or when somebody comes to us and shares stories, that we take it upon ourselves to share those stories with our state and federal leaders, because we're here and we're hearing these stories. whether we're out there in the community or here in the boardroom. So definitely keeping that connection is really important. So I've sent follow-up emails to all of them, and I hope to keep more in touch with them to tell our story. So thank you so much for the opportunity for sharing.
Thank you, Nisha. Thank you for all the tremendous work that up to that and for representing us in that role. So thank you so much. Okay, we are moving on to NSSEO. Liz, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. So with NSSEO, we continue to be in the editing portion of reviewing the articles. Dr. Schnorr provided us with a matrix that kind of lays it out in a different way, which I'm going to ask Brian if you could share that next Friday with everyone. That would be great. But just to continue, if you have any questions or comments, please share them with me or with Brian, and we can bring those back to the committee. On a fun side, November 1st is the Harvest Fest at Sunrise Lake, which is like an amazing pumpkin patch dream. So I'm looking forward to bringing my family. And of course, if any of you would like to attend with me, let me know. It's a great opportunity. If you haven't been out to Sunrise Lake, it is amazing, and you're all welcome to join.
Well, good timing. Thank you. Thank you, Liz. All right, we've now arrived at the time in our agenda we set aside for community input. If a member of the public wishes to address any item on tonight's agenda, please complete one of the blue forms provided on the table. And Lana O'Brien is not here, but you can hand it to Dr. K. So please note on your card if you wish to speak now at our first community input, or if you wish to speak later, should we have a second community input opportunity. Dr. K, do we have any blue slips? We do not. All right, thank you. So we will continue on, and thank you for the patience of our district partners who are here this evening. So first up is PTA, and welcome to the meeting, Aaron Lekomsky. Thank you for joining us. The microphone should be on. It should be good to go.
Apparently. I also have a huge microphone. So just wanted to introduce myself and put a face with the name that you've heard Dr. K reading the reports for me the past couple months. I've been unable to make it, but my name is Erin Lekomsky, and I'm from the Ivy Hill area neighborhood. And I've been involved with their PTA since 2019 in some way, shape, board member form. So this year I am the president of the Arlington Heights Council of PTAs because, you know, why not look after one, just look after 9. So now I'm looking after 9. So why not? It's fun. So this time of year, local units are really all about compliance. In order to stay in good standing as a PTA unit, they have lots of things to check off their list at this time of year. Plus, they're focused on growing membership, and some of their tasks are insurance, audits, budgets, all the fun things that you guys deal with all the time. Many schools have made small changes to programs that they operate annually. For example, at Greenbrier, they've changed Teacher Appreciation Week from into 1 day each month instead of a solid week in May, so they can spread cheer all year instead of just having 1 week where they feed everyone every single day. So they're trying to break it up now so that they can, you know, parcel it out through the whole year. And then Westgate recently tried a food truck at their Fall Fest instead of selling pizzas. And Ivy Hill has added new activities to their Fall Fest, which you got to witness some. Did you get some hair tinsel tied in there? Okay. And I was spinning cotton candy for hours and hours on end that evening. So the council will once again be running Pack the Piggies as a fundraiser for our scholarships this year. Each school gets to decide when they will do it so it fits their schedule. Also, the Reflections National Art Program has kicked off. They're celebrating more than 50 years of this national art program. The Reflections program provides opportunities for recognition and access to the arts, which boosts student confidence and success in the arts and later in life. And I know that we always do a presentation here in the springtime, so look forward to that as well. And then we are also part of a region. We are part of the Northwest Cook region of PTAs, and they're hosting their annual fall region meeting, October 20th. Many of our local units are expected to receive awards for either their innovative programming or reaching attendance goals, meeting goals, and membership goals for the past year. The next council meeting will be over Zoom on October 13th at 7:30, and anyone is welcome to attend. That is all. If you ever have any PTA-related questions, whether it's local, state, or national, I'm your person. Thank you.
Thank you, Erin. Thank you for taking time out to join us tonight. All right, and now we're going to move on to ABC 25 Foundation, and welcome back to Gina Faso. Thank you for joining us tonight, Gina. Good to see you.
Hi, friends. Wow, this is a very weird and different vantage point. So in line with making sure I understood what I heard, let me tell you a story about a bunch of very passionate volunteers that work very hard to raise money to give back to all of our amazing teachers. So ABC 25 is in fundraising mode at this time. My message is going to be very short and sweet. It's going to be about events and where we're at on our schools and the families. So each school, if 25% of the families join ABC 25, the schools get $2,500 to spend on whatever is needed for the school. That is different than our grant program. At this time, we have 4 schools that have achieved it, and we have 2 schools, let's potentially call them Windsor and Olive, that are really, really, really close. So anybody that you know, staff counts towards their school, and if you have students that span multiple schools, so one in middle school and one in elementary, and you do register, your membership counts towards both. So very exciting time being at this point in the year with 4 schools having achieved membership and 2 very close. It's kind of a record-breaking year for us from that perspective. Events. Mark your calendars. On the 17th of October, we have 2 major events. The first one is our membership raffle entry ends, and that's for the Ride to School. So one lucky member who has joined ABC 25, their students will get to ride with a police officer to school, and it's always very exciting, and the kids want the lights on and everything doesn't get like that, but that's always fun and exciting for the students. Also, that same day is when our teacher grants close. So as of 7 a.m. this morning, we only have 2 grants. So the opportunity is there. And please pass along and share, administration, staff, teachers, anybody you know, your kids' teachers, right? This is money for them. That is what it is raised for. 100% of the money comes back to this district and to the school and to the teachers. And with the new curriculum, there might be incredible opportunities, albeit the fact that they're still learning the curriculum themselves. January 19th, that is going to be our district-wide anti-bullying campaign on Martin Luther King Day, and that is coming up. There'll be more information on that on my next visit. And then please save the date. March 15th is our ABC 25 for education fundraiser at Topgolf. March 15th, yes. So that is all my exciting information, and I hope you all have a wonderful night. I'm going to make my exit early, which is also going to be new for me. Okay.
Thank you, Gina.
Mr. President, can I, before you go, Gina, it was so, I just want to say thank you. You were so good to see you, and it's always, you know, I feel like once you're part of the D25 team, you're always part of it, so thank you for being here in a different capacity and doing, you know, continuing to do the work. That's so important, so we appreciate it.
Thank you, Gina. We're going to move on to ATA, and welcome back also to Allison Berg. Good to see you again. Welcome to the board table.
Sitting in the front had to go. It's like a breeze. Anyways, good evening. Thank you for having me tonight. Here's some news from the school, some exciting things going on around the district. I'll start out with West Great. There are a few pictures of their first all-school assembly of the year. The students celebrated the start of the new school year and watched staff role play expected and unexpected behaviors. And there's some pictures of their students enjoying that assembly. This is also a picture from West Great of their students enjoying their garden area, which is awesome to see, and it's blooming. Miss Baker from Ivy came up with an awesome ruler lesson that her students really enjoyed. They were going to discuss their feelings by plotting their feelings on a mood meter, and then they were going to do an Empower Hour challenge to build a raft that could hold counting bears and float in the water. So here are some pictures of her students hard at work. They designed their rafts and plotted how they felt, problem solved and worked together, built their rafts, and of course were able to test them out in the classroom, which looks super cool, testing their rafts in Lake Ivy, counting the bears for their rafts, and then reflecting how their feelings changed during the challenge. So a very cool way to explore our feelings through the ruler program. The South staff, this is a new one for me in all my years of presenting, has a book club of teachers. And so the South staff has a book club, and they read The Stolen Queen by Fiona Davis. This book was chosen by the Arlington Heights Memorial Library as part of the One Book, One Village program. The library provided South with the books, and they just wanted to say that it is an awesome partnership that the library has with our District 25 schools. So not only do our students benefit, but so do our teachers, which is awesome. Connections are important. This is from Windsor School. This is Mr. Gember, our PE teacher, with one of our newest friends at Windsor School. They have a nice bond together, and it makes coming into the building a little bit easier, especially on difficult mornings for our brand new young ones. Sometimes have a hard time getting in and having a successful start to the day. So teachers like Mr. Gember help to build those connections to make sure we start off on the right foot. Miss Pinsky's students at Windsor School have been working using the Stellarium program to look at constellations that were in the night sky on the day they were born. That's what those students are busy doing. That's part of their Earth and Space unit. Students have also been hard at work using our new reading program, the new literacy program, HMH. There are some students doing some buddy editing during writing and annotating during one of their stories, Captain Arsenio. Of course, they made an Arsenio Hall joke, and no one got it. Okay, that just means I'm old, and they are not. Okay, thanks to the Windsor PTA, we had Matt Wilhelm. We were treated to motivational words and tricks by BMX expert Matt Wilhelm, and that's some pictures from him. He also got to jump over some teachers, which, of course, the brave souls survived, and they're back at work, so no worry for HR or anything like that. And finally, here's some pictures from the LMCs, the whole district. Actually, all the LMC teachers put together a slideshow just to show what LMC looks like to start off their back to school fun in the LMC. So I'll just share some quick pictures. First book checkouts. Scavenger hunts going on in the LMCs, which are always fun. Research projects. The pigeon visited the library. Learning about book care, which is so important. This is a Greenbrier student reading I'm Not Korean, a book written in both Korean and English. Buddy reading, which is always fun. Doing some illustrations. And they learned about an Iraqi architect and built their own unique skyscrapers using Legos on National Skyscraper Day on September 3rd. So that is what's going on currently. Just a snippet, actually, of all the things going on, but just a little bit of what's happening around the district. And I look forward to coming back in October with more fun. Thanks.
Great.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Allison. Our next agenda item is the consent agenda. This is an action item. Can I have a motion, please?
Mr. President,
Yes, Kevin.
I recommend that the Board of Education approve those items on the consent agenda as follows. A, personnel report and addendum to personnel report. B, treasurer's report. C, invoices. D, regular and closed session meeting minutes of August 19th, 2025.
Thank you, Kevin. A second, please.
A second.
Thank you, Anisha. And Dr. Kay, if you could please call the vote.
Yes. Member Tranter. Dr. Jogi. Member Scapalato.
Yes.
Member Michael.
Yes.
Member Buchberger.
Yes.
Member Cerniglia.
Yes.
And Member Neerman.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Kay, and the motion carries 7-0. We're moving on now to the student learning portion of the agenda. So we're going to welcome Dr. Fitzpatrick, Mrs. Rousseau, and Diane Kafka. So, all-star cast joining us. Welcome. And so when you're ready, the presentation is on professional learning for all staff and onboarding for new faculty.
Yes, so good evening, everyone. My name is Andrea Lusa. I'm the Director of Student Learning, and I'm joined by my colleagues, Dr. Becky Fitzpatrick, Assistant Superintendent of Student Learning, Mrs. Diane Kafka, Assistant Superintendent for Student Services, and Dr. Brian Kay, Superintendent. So tonight, I have the pleasure of walking you through the highlights of our new faculty onboarding and opening day professional development sessions. Our goal is to empower staff and support student success by creating a dynamic learning community. And that picture is all of our new staff during New Faculty Week. So our professional learning initiatives are directly connected to our strategic plan. We believe that providing various opportunities can empower our staff to improve continuously. This in turn helps us advance our mission of creating a dynamic learning community and supporting student success. So a key part of our strategic plan is ensuring a strong start for new faculty, which helps us attract, develop, and retain diverse, high-quality, innovative employees. Our new faculty onboarding process, or NFO, as we like to call it, has several key components to support our new team members. District 25 focuses on hiring talented and passionate educators who bring diverse skills and perspectives to our schools. We first welcome our new faculty with a letter from Dr. Kay, and then a differentiated schedule to help them acclimate to the district. We also include an activity called the Frame that they partake in during that first day. The Frame activity is a team building exercise where each new staff member creates a personal frame that highlights who they are and then shares it with colleagues to foster connection throughout the week. NFO Week is a dedicated time for new staff to explore district resources, get trained on technology, and learn how to support our students. NFO modules provide continuous support through modules on special education support, diverse learners, and the Danielson framework. New faculty receive ongoing support and guidance from mentors to encourage their professional growth. And then each new staff member gets support directly at their school, including the option to partake in instructional coaching, team meetings, and they also have lunch and learn sessions during that week with their principal. So this year, District 25 welcomed 30 new faculty members through a comprehensive 4-day orientation. New staff participated in 25 sessions led by 20 presenters, ensuring they were informed and supported with personalized learning. So district-wide training for all of our staff ensured that they all had a common foundation of knowledge in 3 key areas. So our district systems, including technology toolkits and the teacher evaluation / Danielson framework, whole student best practices with overviews of social emotional learning, multi-tiered systems of support, and diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. And last but not least, safety through the I Love You Guys standard response protocol training. These shared experiences strengthen collaboration, promote consistency, and support our commitment to student success and well-being. Now, I would like to have Dr. Fitzpatrick continue with a more detailed look at how we personalize learning to our newest staff members.
Thanks, Andrea. So we also provide specific professional learning based on staff roles. K through 5 staff received an overview of core content areas, including math, science, social studies, and literacy. And coordinators from the Department of Student Learning led these sessions and provided training on the curriculum and high-leverage instructional practices. Middle school staff had department-specific sessions where they met with department chairs and team leaders. This gave the staff direct support from staff with experience in the content area and one-on-one guidance as they were planning their first days in the classroom. Professional learning for non-classroom staff, including music teachers, interventionists, and advanced learning specialists, was role-specific and included meetings with team leaders, the MTSS coordinator, and the DSL program coordinator. This brought together staff with similar responsibilities to address their unique needs. And now Diane will share the professional learning the Department of Student Services provided to our staff.
Yes, our student services team welcomed new psychologists, social workers, speech language pathologists, resource teachers, and we provided specific onboarding to cover key areas, including developing individualized education plans to meet our students' strengths and needs, building professional leadership skills so they can collaborate with their special education teams along with their general education team members, and learning how to navigate our Embrace technology system that's used for managing our 504 plans, IEPs, and Medicaid documentation. We also ensure our teams are aware of how to maintain accurate student records and stay current with the legal guidelines surrounding special education, and also their District 25 role-specific procedures for speech pathologists, social workers, psychologists, so they can be successful in their positions. The orientation really ensures that our new team members have a strong foundation, both in compliance and best practices, so they can begin the school year ready to make a positive impact on our students.
And then I'll continue on. As you could see, multiple departments to support all of our staff, included also technology, led out by Mr. Crispano, played an important role in onboarding our new faculty by providing them with laptops and account access. They also led workshops on digital curriculum resources and provided hands-on training for essential tools. This ensures all staff are prepared for the school year. The sessions were role-based, and technology facilitators led small groups to match staff needs closely. Then Mrs. Kendra Perry, along with the ATA leadership, welcomed new faculty and emphasized the shared commitment to professional growth and collaboration. They also reviewed key district resources like the ATA agreement and the evaluation handbook. This training clarified expectations for observations and student growth within the Danielson model. So District 25 provides continuous targeted support through our new faculty modules, which take place throughout the school year to deepen learning in key areas. These modules include social emotional learning, SEL through our ruler framework, the Danielson framework, and then special education services. Faculty also engage in sessions to meet the needs of diverse students, including multilingual learners, and support students who require intervention or enrichment through MTSS. And then our District 25 mentors are also a vital part of our support system for our new staff. So district administrators train mentors during the first day of NFO week to provide guidance and emotional support, offer resources and tools, and promote reflective practice with new staff. They also serve as champions of district initiatives. Mentors offer feedback on teaching practices, classroom management, and lesson planning to help new teachers improve and grow professionally. They share materials, strategies, and resources to enhance the new teacher's ability to engage students, manage the classroom, and implement effective instruction. Mentors also encourage new teachers to engage in regular self-reflection, helping them assess their progress, identify areas for development, and continuously improve their instructional methods. And it's really exciting because on the first day, they all have lunch together and they meet, and it's just lovely. So now, switching over from supporting our new staff, we're going to talk about how we support all of our staff through opening days.
Yeah, so something I hope you're sort of hearing as a theme, and that you'll maybe continue to hear as we talk a little bit about now professional learning for all staff, is really personalizing and providing differentiated opportunities. I know Greg and I had a little bit of an opportunity to talk about that regarding onboarding for new staff. That's been a significant area of growth, I think, in our district. We recognize that our new staff are coming to us with a variety of different experiences and needs. And let's face it, our staff that's even within our district also have different needs. So we are spending a lot of time looking at best practices in research and professional learning to provide different opportunities to best match the needs of all of our staff. And certainly opening days was no exception. They again participated in some personalized and differentiated experiences. Our elementary teachers really focused mainly on professional learning associated with our new literacy curriculum, HMH into reading. And our middle school staff, they worked in departments and were provided professional learning or collaboration time, depending on where that content area is in the program review process. So last spring, our elementary classroom teachers provided feedback that they wanted time to work collaboratively with their peers who teach the same grade. So they were organized with their peers who teach the same grade into grade level bands for HMH into reading training to ensure it was both relevant and personalized to their needs. And then to further support implementation, they were also provided with a checklist to help them set up their classrooms and partake in one of the HMH Teacher Success Pathway modules, which offers a clear roadmap for effectively using the curriculum throughout the year. And they will participate in additional modules throughout the year. Departments from both middle schools met and collaborated on content, discussed best practices, and worked on program review steering committee initiatives to foster more unified middle school programming.
Yeah, and another part of our opening day professional learning was dedicated to student skills for all team members, early childhood through 8th grade. This was our 3rd year of offering these rotations, and each year we have been building on our previous sessions to deepen learning and add new strategies. So some of the rotations that we offered this year included executive functioning, which has been an ongoing one. They called it executive functioning 2.0 because they took it to another level. Anxiety and how to support our students, proactive supports for regulation, building rapport, trust, and motivation in the classroom, and fostering student independence and trauma-informed practices and interventions. This structure or this model that we use really allows team members to select the sessions that are most relevant to their roles and the needs of their students. The day was hands-on, practical, and designed to provide immediate strategies for the teachers to bring back to their classrooms. And by investing in this type of professional learning, we are equipping our educators with tools to strengthen the relationships, support student well-being, build independence, which directly supports both academic and social and emotional growth of our students.
All right, I wanted to take the next couple slides, starting with opening day in District 25. This is a snapshot of what the opening day experience looks like for our entire staff throughout District 25. The day is designed to set a positive tone for the school year, reinforcing our culture of collaboration and continuous growth. On Monday, August 18th, we gathered at Thomas Middle School where the assistant and associate principals, along with a few teaching assistants from each building, opened the day like an opening day ceremony at the Olympics to begin the school year. It was a moment that truly captured the spirit of District 25, every role, every building coming together with a shared sense of purpose. We've included a short video on the previous slide highlighting what captures the energy and excitement of that day. As you watch, notice the enthusiasm, the teamwork, and the joy of educators that they come in with on the opening day. We'll give it a moment. I can feel his energy. Yeah, that doesn't look like we're going to get there anytime soon. Yeah, I'm good. Let's go back to the presentation. Yeah, I can send it in the weekly updates. All right, thank you. On the next slide, here you can see our teaching assistants and assistant and associate principals representing the buildings. One of the highlights of the day was the bike presentation. These bikes had been assembled during our administrator retreat, and we donated these to a community partner, Family Forward. It was a meaningful symbol, leaders working together to create something lasting and impactful for kids. This year we chose to honor our teaching assistants in a special way. They are the heartbeat of our classrooms. They are the calm voice in a moment of frustration, the patient guide through a tough concept, and the steady, caring presence that makes a student feel seen and supported. While their work is often quiet, its impact is profound. On the next slide, we also recognize our assistant and associate principals. These leaders are the engine of our schools. They are the problem solvers, the mediators, the instructional leaders, and the steady hands that shape our school culture. When you step back, these two groups, teaching assistants and our assistant and associate principals, might look very different on paper, but they share something essential. They are the ones who make our schools work day in and day out. They are the definition of boots on the ground. They live the daily realities. They respond to work tirelessly through their dedication, and they carry forward the values that make District 25 such a strong and supportive community. And the last slide. So as we begin the new school year, let's carry this image with us right here. The flags you see represent our unity and our shared purpose as one district. The bikes built by our administrators and carried in by our teaching assistants and assistant and associate principals symbolize our collective mission to work together to build something meaningful and to give every single child the tools they need to ride off into a beautiful future. That's the heart of opening day, and that's the heart of District 25. And that concludes our presentation. Are there any questions? Thank you, team.
Thank you all, to all the presenters. Yeah, thank you. Any questions from the board for our team?
Just a comment, it's all just very exciting and to be there, and I know it seems like far, far away, but to see everything in action, to see the new faces, the new teachers come in and getting an opportunity to talk to them, and then being at opening day, it's all very magical, and I think folks, it's nice to see all the big smiles.
And I do just want to point out, I like the continued effort to include the board in at least two of these events. One, the opening day where all staff come together, but also an opportunity when the ATA meets all of the new certified teachers. We invite the board to join in that celebration as well. I just think it's a great start, and then hopefully we see many of them here, welcoming them into their tenure status in the district. So I just feel like I appreciate the departments, including the board, in those opportunities.
Thank you. And excuse me, just a comment is it's clear as you walked us through that presentation, certainly a lot of it is functional, right? In terms of getting, I'm thinking about the new staff, getting them up to speed. But what's clear, Anisha, I think about you know, how we tell our story, and it's what I see there also is you telling and sharing with those new staff, and I see it when we participate at these events. You know, our story is District 25, so not only can you operate the mechanics of being a teacher or a staff member here, but also what is our culture here, and that's clear. It's also clear that, you know, we've seen this before, this presentation, but it's not always the same. So I was wondering, is there anything you'd like to highlight about how those changes come about? And that's wherever you'd like to go with that.
Yeah, I'd love to answer that. So we give I would say, pretty robust survey at the end of the week from our new staff, and that has really helped drive a lot of the differentiation that we give for them. In the past 2 years, we've given a lot of where we give information in the morning, but then they have application time and time in their classroom. And that was a big adjustment that we made in the past couple of years based on that direct feedback from new staff. So that's definitely one way that we tweak and make things better every year. Yeah.
Something else I'll add is just adding a little bit more time for teachers to be with their mentors during that first week. We had a chunk of time where they got together, but we've expanded that and have gotten really great feedback on both the mentee and the mentor side of things.
And speaking of, so then hearing that and talking about telling a story, what's so great to hear when you share that is, you know, we often talk about we're here, we want to be student-centered. But what's wonderful about what you're sharing is we're also teacher-centered or staff-centered. And speaking as a career educator, I've been through PD. That's not always. You know, we talk about how to develop learning for students, but it's not always transferred to staff. But thank you for taking feedback from staff and the time and care so that it's tailored with the same attention to detail for them. So thank you. I think we're ready to move on. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank We're going next to our business and finance section. We have several items under this portion of the agenda. The first is an action item for the 2025-2026 budget. Can I have a motion, please?
Mr. President,
Yes, Kevin.
I recommend that the Board of Education adopt the 2025-2026 budget as presented.
Thank you, Kevin. A second, please.
I'll second.
Thank you, Anisha. And so this is information that was presented last month, but Stacy, is there new information you'd like to share before we vote on the budget?
Yes, as always, they're attached in your board packet. There is information regarding changes to the revenue and the expenditures. The biggest piece on the revenue side was an update on some of that federal funding that we did find out about, as well as that reallocation of property taxes that I mentioned. Once we got the rates reallocated to the spring collection, it then ultimately affects the fall collection, which is this year's budget. Similarly, on the expenditure side, we've had a couple move-in students, so I needed to make an adjustment to our special ed tuition budget. We have an estimate for the Dryden flood costs, so that was added in with an offsetting insurance reimbursement for the majority of it. And then some other miscellaneous, again, some of the grant expenditures and some reallocations throughout the budget included there.
All right. Thank you, Stacy. Any questions for Stacy on the budget changes since last month? Okay. All right. Seeing none, we'll go to the vote. So, Dr. K, if you could please call the vote.
All right. Dr. Jogi?
Yes.
Member Scapalato?
Yes.
Member Michael?
Yes.
Member Buchberger?
Yes.
Member Cerniglia?
Yes.
Member Neerman?
Yes.
And Member Tranter.
Thank you, Dr. K. The motion carries 7-0. And Stacy, thank you. There's a tremendous amount of work behind that, so thank you for all of that. Now we're going on. We have two agenda items that are informational. They come to the board annually. So Stacy, if you could walk us, you can go right through both of them. The first is the administrator compensation report.
Yes, actually, this item as well as the next item are both different reports that are required to be posted on the district website no later than October 1st in conjunction with the adoption of the school budget and presented at a public board meeting. This first one I'm talking about, Anisha mentioned mandates earlier. There's a variety of different reports that we have to put together that are all very similar, beginning back from May through these reports here where it's compensation, whether it's administrators and teachers or just administrators, and what's included, and they're so similar but yet slightly different, so we have to prepare all of them. So it'd be a real good time saver if the legislature could just figure out one report they want that encompasses everything. Sorry. But anyway, so that's the purpose of having this. Both the next two items on the report is to meet the legal requirements. They are on the website already, and the administrator and teacher salary and benefit report are filed with ISPE.
Great. Thank you, Stacy, for explaining those. The next item, the mail machine lease, is an action item, but we are going to be tabling that, and it will come back to us at a future board meeting. So with that, I think we've completed the business and finance section. So now we go to personnel and planning. And for this next item, it's an informational item, and we'll welcome Kendra Perry to the board table. Welcome, Kendra. And each year we receive an update on the enrollment based on 6th day of school. So Kendra will take us through this year's report.
Hey, Mr. President, while Kendra gets set up, I just wanted to say, Stacey, I'm so glad you brought up that point about like ways to be more, suggestions and recommendations for more effective kind of mandate requirements and so forth. Because, we wouldn't know that kind of is an area that could possibly need improvement. So I'd love to talk to you more about that, of how can we convey that or encourage you to convey that, because unless we share these stories, they don't know. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good evening. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share the 6-day enrollment report. While we monitor our student enrollment throughout the school year, the 6th day is an exciting day because we are able to see and compare our trend data. This information helps us to evaluate the direction of our school district. The information collected on this day is important for all the departments at central office and begins the process of planning for the following school year. This year, our 6th day fell on Thursday, August 28th. Arlington Heights School District is proud to maintain low class sizes, which many of our constituents recognize as a key strength of the district. For example, in grades 1 through 3, while our target class size is 22, we are currently averaging 20 students per class. Similarly, in grades 4 through 5, our target is 25, but we remain at an average of 22 students per class. In addition, our average class size in kindergarten is at or below 20. Low class sizes allow us to further differentiate instruction, devote more time to individualized instruction for our students, and provide a stronger learning environment for our classroom community. We also understand that one of our main responsibilities is to be fiscally responsible to our constituents. Therefore, I would like to thank you, the board, for allowing us to maintain these low class sizes and for the support that impacts our students and staff. Now to get into the data. Okay, this graph on page 4 of your presentation is a snapshot of our overall early childhood through 8th grade enrollment. As you can see, the total number of students that are served by Arlington Heights is 5,292 students this year. This is a decrease of 74 students from the previous year's 6-day enrollment of 5,366, or a decrease of 1.38%. Our kindergarten enrollment has remained fairly consistent from 491 last year to 484 students this year, which is an overall decrease of just 7 students. Our current enrollment for 1st through 5th grade is down 51 students from 2,881 last year to 2,830 this year. Slide 6 shows our 6-day enrollment by school. There are a couple of areas to point out. This year, our largest increase throughout the district was at Patton Elementary School, increasing 24 students for a total population of 394 students. The 2 other schools which showed a high increase in total enrollment were South with 13 students and Windsor with 19 students. You'll notice that overall the trend was an enrollment decrease this year. Ivy's enrollment was the most significant, down by 37 students, while Thomas decreased by 33 and Westgate decreased by 28. We will continue to watch these trends and compare them to our projected enrollment for staffing and infrastructure needs. Slide 8 tracks our early childhood numbers, which are updated and monitored on a monthly basis. While this chart currently shows that we are servicing 139 early childhood students, we know that this number will increase steadily throughout the school year as students age into our EC program when they turn 3 years old. As a point of reference, last year we added 24 students throughout the school year after the 6-day enrollment. We anticipate that our early childhood enrollment will most likely follow that previous year's trend. Slide 9 takes you on a walk through history with the enrollment data from each school year since 1957. You may notice the peak of our enrollment was reached in the 1969-70 school year with 10,036 students, but began to level off in the early 90s, and that is where our enrollment trends remain today. Slide 11 shows our longitudinal kindergarten through 8th grade enrollment trends since 2003. Prior to the pandemic, it was forecast that our enrollment may be leveling off during the pandemic. We saw an enrollment decrease significantly between 2019 and 23. But with the addition of full day K, we saw an increase in enrollment in 2024, but have noted a decrease in overall enrollment in 2025. Slide 13 highlights the 2022 and 2024 CASARDA projections. I know there's a lot to look at there. The blue line shows our actual K-8 student enrollment, while the red line shows the 2022 CASARDA projection, and the green line shows the 2024 CASARDA projections. At this time, our actual enrollment is more in line with the 2022 CASARDA data, with a difference of only 11 students. So it's hard to see there. I put the numbers below it where they meet in the middle. The red and the blue line intersect. There's only 11 students difference there. Slide 14 shows the expected enrollment with full day K according to the CASARDA projections from 2022 and 2024 in comparison to our actual enrollment data. As you can see, with 2 years of full day K implemented, we have not reached the projected enrollment from the 2022 study. The 2024 CASARDA study shows a more modest growth projection in line with our current enrollment. In addition to the slides, I've included an additional document with a breakdown of class sizes at each of the elementary schools and the number of students served at each grade level to determine the class size per grade level. Overall, we continue to recognize that predicting our enrollment models is challenging. We will continue to analyze our enrollment data frequently in order to make our enrollment projections with greater accuracy. I want to acknowledge the great work of our entire administrative team, who have done an outstanding job to help us set parameters in looking at staffing costs that enable us to support our students and staff needs. The reputation of our district remains strong. A great deal of gratitude in large part because of you, the board, and your priority to maintain low class sizes within the elementary and middle school setting. We definitely appreciate your support in allowing this to happen. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Kendra.
Yeah.
Any questions from the board? Kendra, I just have maybe one or two, I think, maybe, depending, around the EC numbers. And so you were talking about how they can grow over the year. One, do we have a ceiling on our capacity for the EC program? And two, then do we add staff like based on that growth during the year? Is that common?
I'm not familiar with an overall ceiling, but I'll let Diane answer. Is there a ceiling?
No, there's not. We staff according to what our projected is. We get those student names of anyone who's transitioning out of early intervention in the early childhood, so we kind of have a projection of how many students that will be when we start departing.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And so I guess then the other question is, do we typically find we have to add staff, as the numbers change throughout the year? Is that, or no, or?
No, not since I've been in the team.
Okay.
For many years, we kind of know what our projections
Okay.
are going to be and what we're going to
Gotcha.
staff throughout the entire school year. So the class sizes for early childhood will start a little smaller
Sure.
at the beginning because we know we're going to be adding
Yeah.
at least 4 or 5 students to each classroom throughout the school.
Okay.
And as we looked at that trend data, it is pretty consistent each year in what we add. So
Okay.
it's pretty predictable. It has been.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. That explains that. All right. Well, seeing no other questions, thank you, Kendra.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. And Diane, thank you. Okay. Next, we're going to the superintendent's report. And, of course, the first item is Dr. K's superintendent update. So I'll turn it over to you.
Well, thank you. Appreciate your time to let me share a couple updates. Just first one, which is the opportunity we had with the farmers market. It really was a perfect opportunity to engage with what felt like hundreds of community members. We also got the benefit of Music for Youth performing right behind us, so they were wonderful to hear and listen to. Many staff also came through. So yeah, just a great opportunity. I didn't know what to expect by selecting the farmers. and I was delighted with the outcome of the experience. So thank you to Greg and Anisha for your willingness to join in that experience. And the next one is October 25th, the Trunk or Treat, which I guarantee will be more than we saw at the farmer's market. So I'm excited to once again be back, District 25, participating in Trunk or Treat, another great event ahead. I also wanted to update on the strategic plan. We have a refresh team that will be starting very soon. I just wanted to highlight the refresh team this year will consist of many members of the community, both internal and external. So we will select staff to participate. We like to get a representation from every building. We like to get a representation by multiple departments. We let the school leadership team help decide who will represent the schools in addition to the administration. And we also look for a variety of job types. So certified staff, non-certified staff, technology staff. We also will have management, so I will be there. The board will have representation there. And you guys might remember when we did the first exchange talking about the refresh, we had more than 2 board members, which then made it an open meeting. So it's a conversation we'll have to have again. If we want to have more than 2 board members participate, we may want to make that an open meeting so then more board members can participate if interested. We'll have parents and community members, parent organizations like the PTA and ABC 25 and community liaisons with our community partners. We'll invite them to participate. So the group is growing. I would anticipate no smaller than 50 people participating, and the highlight of the group, I think every year that we go through a process like this, is including students, both current and students that have graduated from District 25. So the refresh team will be meeting on 5 different dates that I told you I have, but I haven't shared them with you. So those are coming soon, which I think will then indicate who is available, who isn't, so we'll know if we have 2 or more board members. So it will officially begin with an orientation on November 12th. Then we'll have a date in December, January, February, and March. But if you just want to look at your calendars, November 12th in the afternoon, 3:30 to 5:30. It's an easy one because it's via Zoom. So just put that in your calendar, and I'll share the rest of the dates with you soon. And I also wanted to recognize, and I was surprised nobody brought it up here, so I'm glad you saved this one for me, that you as a board earned the Governance Recognition Award. I was, again, happy that you left that one for me. So in District 25, believe that a board that learns together obviously leads together. This guiding principle has shaped our culture and strengthened the direct link between effective governance and student success. Our board engages in ongoing collaborative learning, annual self-evaluations, book studies, professional development workshops, and attendance at the IASB conference as a team. We intentionally build relationships through these shared meals, mentoring new members, and creating spaces for open dialogue and reflection among our team. By listening to stakeholders and shaping a shared vision, mission, and goals, we have fostered collective ownership of our district's future. Our clear North Star, a student-centered, equity-driven vision, anchors decision-making and builds confidence across our community. This board models lifelong learning and holds fast to the foundational principles of effective governance. In doing so, you've cultivated trust, clarity, and strong partnership with not only myself, but ensuring you as a team stay focused on students first. This board serves the Arlingtonites community with humility, dedication, and a sense of pride, and we are all grateful that you guys have been selected by this community to lead District 25. So I'm happy I got to be the first one to officially congratulate you. Congratulations, District 25 board. I loved swapping of the microphones. This is great. Did anyone want to add to the congratulations to the board award? While you're thinking about it, I wanted to also thank Adam for putting it out on the social media and the dish to make sure it gets more attention as well. So congratulations to you guys. I know some of you wonder, how do we get this award? It does take a lot of effort to put forth the application, to share all of the great work that is being done by this board on behalf of this community, the students and the staff. We're only able to do it every 2 years, and so I'm just excited that we earned it back in '23, and we got to earn it again in '25. Anybody want to share anything else?
We're so humble, we don't want to toot our own horns. But I will say, I want to thank Greg. You know, I've gone through the process before, and I want to thank Greg for putting in all the work to put the application. It's a long application, and it's a great opportunity for us as a board to kind of reflect on the different things, because the ISB application kind of goes through all the different factors that make for effective governance. So it's a really good pause for us as a team to look at, okay, how are we doing in all these different cornerstones? So, but beyond that, beyond the cornerstones and the principles and everything, there's people that activate all that. And so I am just so inspired and grateful for the people who sit at this table, and for Dr. K for kind of, you know, for being part of this journey with us. So I'm really grateful. It feels, it's a happy thing.
Yeah, congratulations, team. All right, the next topic I have is the Freedom of Information Act reports. There were 8 FOIAs this past month. All were responded to following the required timeline. And my last topic is the first reading of policies from Press 119. The policy committee met at the last board meeting. We reviewed 24 policies and 7 exhibits. The policy committee unanimously agreed to move many of these policies and exhibits to the first reading of the Board of Education as submitted. The policy committee unanimously agreed to move some of the policies to first reading of the Board of Education, but requested a little additional information. So I'm going to highlight these 3 policies. One is 2:240, Board Policy Development. The policy committee discussed adding a link to policy 2:240 exhibit on this policy as a reference, and so I just want to make sure if you look at that, I just want to highlight verbally that we added that link to that policy. Otherwise, it remained unchanged. The second one I wanted to highlight is 4:90, Student Activity and Fiduciary Funds. The policy committee discussed an interest in asking press the difference between review and monitor versus this policy is unchanged in response to a 5-year review. And while she's not here, this one goes to Lana. She is the one who actually changed that language so that it is universal. It's the same. There's no difference. We did ask press if there was any difference, and they also said no, there is no difference between those 2 phrases that we put in there. And the last one I wanted to highlight was 7:300, extracurricular activities. The policy committee discussed the interest in asking if the language being recommended for removal was present in the past. So if you open that one up, you'll see some language was being stricken out or removed. And what I wanted to share with you guys is that the current policy, 7:300, that we have on our website shows that that language is present there. So yes, this language has been present in the past. In researching a little further and asking my team why we were recommending that language to change, the real reason is we don't have student accident insurance to offer. So because we don't offer it, we should strike it so that it matches what we can offer. And we currently have parents sign off on a Google form indicating that they have insurance for a student to participate in extracurricular sports and activities. So again, we're just trying to match what our current practice is. But the policy committee did ask, is this language currently in there? And the answer is yes to that. Any questions about those 3 that I highlighted separately than all the others that were recommended for approval as submitted? Just a big thanks to the policy committee. I know it's a newer committee that this board has started a couple years ago. It does help us really get a little bit deeper into the policies and ask for some refinement so that when we come to this moment where we're doing first reading, we can ask more questions, and then we'll come back to it all again at the next meeting where we approve them. So between now and the next board meeting, you have an opportunity to ask more questions or clarification on not only these three, but all of the others. So thank you, Policy Committee. And that is all I had for this evening.
Great. Thank you, Dr. K. We are now at the second community input section. Do we have any blue slips, Dr. K?
I do not.
Okay. So we'll continue on. We have the future agenda items section of the meeting. And so are there any new topics that may have been discussed previously with Dr. K that the board members want to bring forward? Anyone have any for us this month? Okay. So the board will be returning to closed session to continue working on the same topics announced earlier for a closed session. The board cannot take any action during the closed session meeting, and we will not take any action when we return to open session afterwards. So with that, can I have a motion, please, to adjourn and return to closed session?
Mr. President,
Yes, Kevin.
I recommend that the board adjourn the open meeting and resume closed session to discuss the aforementioned topics.
Thank you, Kevin. A second, please.
Second.
Thank you, Anisha. And Dr. K, if you could please call the roll.
Yes, Member Michael,
Yes.
Member Buchberger,
Yes.
Member Cerniglia,
Yes.
Member Neerman,
Yes.
Member Tranter,
Yes.
Dr. Jogi, and Member Scapalato.
Yes. All right. So, Dr. K, thank you. And that carries 7-0. And so thank you, everyone, for being here today. We'll see you next meeting.